Good morning, everyone. So thankful that you're here. I see we're getting a few people that are connecting. So while we're doing that, thank you for being here at 8 o'clock in the morning. We appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. It looks like I'm trying to adjust my screen as well, so I can make sure I can see everyone. Let's see, we've got, it looks like I'm gonna ask you really quick just to say a quick hi and make sure your audio is working. And I would love to see your faces if possible. It's just a lot easier to teach and train to a face than a name, just saying. If we're gonna do virtual, we might as well have some fun with it. My name is Marie Baker, and I am one of the business consultants here at the Small Business Development Center. And I'm hoping you can all see the screen. Can you see the screen I've shared, Business Basecamp? You can just nod. Excellent. Okay, perfect. I just want to, I'm going to kind of go through my screen to verify who's here. Mitch, I'm guessing, are you Mitchell Sampson?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, great. And let's see, Carol Sanger. Carol. Yep, hi. And let's see, we have Danae.
Yep.
Hi, Danae. Let me make sure I've got you. Yep. And then Gary Haynes. Let's, go ahead. I don't see that you're registered, so tell me what business you're under. Okay, I can't hear you. So let's see. You're like, oh no, let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Do you know how to use the chat, Gary? Okay, why don't you chat in there who you're with and how you got signed up or what your business is. That would be great. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for getting started. We're going to have a great time today, I think. I'm sure of it, actually. Gary, I didn't get anything, so we'll just keep, can you hear me? Okay. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but that's okay. We're going to get through this. So Business Basecamp is designed to help you kind of formulate where you're going. This is a very broad overview of what it takes to kind of get your business up and running. As we move through this, please understand that it's very general. And if you want more specifics, one-on-one consulting is the way to go. But this is your first step into your journey. So it looks like I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what we're going to do. How many of you have started your business at all? Anybody? No. Most of you are just thinking about it, right? Gary started. The rest of you are just thinking. Okay, perfect. Let me get us going here. And what we're going to do is in the chat, you did get some stuff in your packet, but we also have some other stuff that we're going to help you with. And we've got the value prop canvas, a one-page business plan, some elevator pitch basics, and the problem interview. We're going to go through all of that today, so don't worry about any of it. We're just going to go through it, and since we have a small class, it'll be kind of fun because we can have some great interaction. Today, the agenda is we're going to go through a few things. And one is something that I know basically this last 15 months we're all become very aware of is cybersecurity. So we're going to go through that. And we're also, those of you that came today, we will be sending out a one-page sheet and I think Shonda is helping me monitor the chat and let people in. So thank you, Shonda. She's kind of the name you see on there. We'll be sending you a couple page sheet with some links as you move forward in your business, some things you as an employer can do and what you can do with your employees to monitor cybersecurity. We're going to go through what we call your elevator pitch, and in your packet there was a little form, but we're also going to kind of go through that. And that's really today, you're thinking, I don't even know for sure. We're talking about distilling this down and clarifying, you know, what your business is, what exactly who you serve, what's your value prop. So we're just going to talk about that. This is your safe zone. There's no right or wrong answer. This is just, we're walking through it to help you really kind of process through where you want to be with your business. We're going to go through some business fundamentals, part one, and we're going to take a 5-minute bio break for those of you that may need it or just to stretch. And then we're going to jump into part two and then talk about some next steps. Feel free to raise your hand. And let's see, I think I've got to, you know, you can either raise your hand, if those of you are familiar with Zoom, you can do that, or you can physically raise your hand if you want to ask a question. This is going to be very informative. At the same time, I want it to be just, it's designed for you. So if there's something that you need clarification on, say, hey, you can either throw it in the chat. Shonda can let me know, however that works for you. I'm also going to tell you that I've got my camera here and I'm looking at you. I've got my PowerPoint over here that you're seeing. So if it looks like I'm not kind of looking, it's just because I've got a couple screens working, okay? Doesn't mean that I don't really, I'm not looking at you, but trying to get this technology straight and the camera's just not working with me today. So how many of you, is this your first time with the Small Business Development Center, or do you know what we do? Yes, no, maybe. You know what we do, Mitch? Okay, great. Well, let me give you a little bit of an example. We offer no cost consulting for entrepreneurs and small business owners in any stage of their business. And, you know, really what we're here to do is, when we talk about building better communities, it's about helping the economic environment, which small businesses are the thread of that, or business. And we, as you can see, we really welcome people who dream. We welcome, we want to build community, and we're really here to help the entrepreneur move through the different stages of their growth to be successful. We do it with consulting. We do it with accelerators. I'm actually sitting in the Nampa Business Accelerator in Region 3. We have 2 accelerators, and that is where businesses can rent space, get consulting help. The idea is that you build a plan and then you move on. So think of it as kind of like that nest where you're protected for a minute or two, and then you move on to succeed. And we also give referrals to people. And our history here, I'm going to go over this fairly quickly. There are small business development centers throughout the United States. It's called America Small Business Development Center. In Idaho, it was founded in 1986. If you look at the screen, you'll see that there are 6 regions. We are Region 3. I think that there may be some people on here that are from other areas. However, we're Region 3. And as you notice here, our home state, our base is Boise State. That's why you see all the information from boisestate.edu. We are funded in part by the Small Business Administration, which is federal, the state of Idaho, and then we partner with Boise State. So there are a lot of collaborations to support entrepreneurs here in the Treasure Valley and throughout the state. And as you can see, we have connections. So depending where you want to go, we can usually connect you and create some collaborations. the key thing is people say, why come to a small business development center? This was a 20-year average from 1997 to 2017. The impact of the center here in Idaho. And in red, you'll see the SBDC clients, and in gray, the average Idaho business. And you'll see for sales, both sales growth and employment growth, the SBDC client typically had much higher numbers. So sometimes it's really, what I like to tell my clients, it's like you have a silent partner in your business that just their only interest is to help you grow and make the right choices. And maybe sometimes, in some instances, it's simply being the sounding board. Because as you grow your business, if you're by yourself, it can be a lonely journey, and we're here to help you build a team of people that will help you survive, thrive. So what we're going to do right now is jump into a cybersecurity video, and small businesses are this is a huge threat to them because typically they don't have, it's not like Boise State, for example, who has a whole team of people, and trust me, we've got all sorts of protocols. As you build your business, it's critical to think about what that looks like, especially depending on your business, what you're doing, if you're holding client data, that sort of thing. We've all heard about breaches recently. So I'm just going to play this video and then understand that we have a very professional handout for you that we'll be sending post. You know what? I have to make sure that I have put the video on. Let me stop my share for 1 second. I just realized that when I share this, I have to share my computer sound. So there you go. So sorry. Can you see that? Yeah, the screen again? Okay, thank you.
Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, looks like you could use that.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just that my business is in serious trouble right now.
Really? I thought business was booming at the Puppy Palace.
No, I mean, business per se is. I mean, like right now we're doing more French Bulldog manicures and poodle waxings than ever. But, well, I was hacked.
Did you say hacked?
Yeah, hacked. These cyber criminals came in and they took all my company information.
Wow. Who would want to steal information from a dog grooming company?
See, I don't know. I always thought it was like big businesses that were vulnerable to cyber attacks. I mean, I don't have 1 million customers, but these people, they got my client list, they took my grooming history, they have the pet owner's financial information. I mean, it's a nightmare.
Wow. What are you going to do?
I have no idea.
Sounds to me like you got phished. A clever email is sent asking an employee for their username and password, or has an employee click a link or attachment, which downloads malware to the computer and poof. You know, spear phishing.
Oh, this is Idaho. There's not a lot of spear fishing here. It's mostly fly fishing, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say fly fishing. Oh, spin casting is also popular.
No, spear phishing. Spear phishing is a targeted email that combines social engineering and technical subterfuge to steal data or to download malware for malicious purposes. An email arrives, apparently from a trustworthy source like a coworker or boss, and directs the employee to download a file or go to a bogus website where it asks for their credentials. The email looked convincing, and one of your employees clicked on it, probably Trish. this happened, the cyber criminals gained access to her information and thus gathering your company's sensitive data as well.
So it's Trisha's fault.
No, not Trisha's fault. Your fault. The email looked convincing, and without proper training, Trish could have never known. How do you expect her to catch something that you don't even know exists? You didn't educate yourself or your employees. It's your fault.
Why didn't you educate yourself?
Oh, like you knew any of this. You fix bikes.
You know, I'm feeling slightly less sorry for you. Oh, which reminds me, I'm about to open my bike shop soon. What do I need to know about cybersecurity and how to protect myself?
First, employees. Make sure your employees are trained to think about cybersecurity. They are the gatekeepers, and they must be trained and retrained to make sure they are practicing safe cyber behavior. Second, backup. Make sure you have an identical copy of your computer's information backed up somewhere like the cloud or an external hard drive, and make sure to back up often. Third, encrypting. If you convert your computer's data into a form that others without authorization can't read or understand, there's no concern if a hacker gets your information because they won't be able to use it. Fourth, mobile devices. With all the businesses being done on laptops, phones, and tablets, it's imperative to have a virtual private network software so you can have a safe connection to unknown networks. Take your buddy here. His phone has been connected to the public cafe Wi-Fi this whole time, and Todd over there has just stolen all of his credit card information.
So what do I do now? I mean, these hackers already have my information. I didn't do none of that. So what do I do?
Well, you can call your local law enforcement agency or the FBI.
Oh, thank God.
But the breach probably isn't local, and the FBI is doing more important things like stopping terrorist attacks. Don't worry, your cyber insurance should take care of it. It'll at least take care of the liability for all your dog people's personal information.
Yeah, I don't have insurance.
Well, sounds like you built a wood house in Oklahoma and are thinking about protecting it only after the tornado has struck.
Oklahoma has tornadoes?
You're hopeless. Dude. Dude.
71% of security breaches target small businesses. 59% of small businesses don't have a contingency plan in place. And 60% of businesses don't recover after a cyber attack. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit www.idahosbdc.org/cyber for more information on how you can protect yourself and your business.
Well, as you can see, that is somewhat revealing, but we've all seen in the last few months exactly what's happening. And we're all, I'm sure, getting different things on our phone and our emails. Just as you build your business, it's critical to understand. And the handout that Shonda sent you, it's got some recommendations for people to what to do, how to prepare yourself, and then what to do if it does happen, and also about insurance. So there's some documents there to help you move forward. And again, this is about you having the resources to be your best self. But what we're going to do next, and we talked about, this is everyone's favorite part. And so that's kind of exciting. I'm joking, obviously. But this is about what you're trying to do. And I saw little pieces of when you guys signed up, what what your idea was and what you're thinking about. And so we're going to go through around the room. Gary, I'm not sure if we've got sound for you yet, but we'll figure that part out. We're going to go through and have everybody do their elevator pitch. And so I'm going to walk through. You may have a handout similar to this. I think you do. I'm not sure. I apologize if you don't. But this is really kind of what we're going to do. What is your company's name? What you're developing? You're here to help who? You solve a problem with what, and you can do what. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do one. And I will say this to everyone, it's going to change depending on your audience. It doesn't change who you are or what you do, but sometimes you have different niches in your market. And I see that there's different things. So it depends who you're talking to. But let's pretend I'm meeting you for the first time and I'm talking about the SBDC. So, hi, I'm Marie Baker. I'm a consultant with a small business development center here in Idaho. We're really here to help businesses accelerate their growth. We do this through no cost individual consulting, trainings, seminars for small businesses and entrepreneurs and businesses who have been around for a long time and perhaps need to pivot or make a growth change. So if you are a business owner or you know someone who really just needs to kind of get a little refresh, please feel free to have them call us and go to our website at idahosbdc.org, schedule an appointment, or check out our webinars and seminars that we have because it could help them accelerate their growth. Does that help a little bit? You guys are all looking at me like, what? Okay, I grant you, it's early in the morning, right? So, but I really think it's important. I'll do another example that will be helpful. I have owned several businesses and one of them was a gift shop many moons ago. So let me talk about, I'll do one for that. Hi, I'm Marie and I'm a partner with Donna in the Gift Box in downtown Reedley. And we specialize in things that you want to give and express yourself and thank someone or appreciate, someone as a gift. We know we live 45 minutes from the major city and it's kind of a challenge to get there. So come on into the Gift Box when you want to express your appreciation or joy to someone. We're open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Feel free to stop by. We will connect you with something that you need to say thank you or express joy. The Gift Box. This is our address. Da, 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 da. I actually still remember 1119 West Main Street. And it was about 20 years ago or 25. So there you go. But does that help? Because really at the end, the key thing is you want a call to action. So as we're going to go through this, and please understand this is your safe space. You guys are all here to support each other. You don't know each other, but what I know about people building businesses is you're here to support each other. Is that call to action. A lot of times business owners, they talk about, what they're doing, but really what you want to think about is what is my offering to you? And we're going to talk about value proposition later in our discussion, but it's really what problem am I solving for somebody and how can they get a hold of me? Can they call me? Can they go online and schedule an appointment? Can they stop by the shop? Can they order online? I don't know what your methodology is, but who would like to be the brave soul to go first and give us a little snapshot of what your dream is? Brenda, unmute yourself and go for it, girl.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Brenda Close, and I'm the founder of Treasuring Education. We are a small business that offers help to the adult family members of families with children in school. Our mission is to train and educate those adults on strategies and all the issues surrounding school and how to better help their child succeed in school. You can soon reach us at treasuringeducation.com. We're working on our website and we're ready to launch with webinars and workshops soon.
Okay, great. Brenda, thank you so much for being brave. If we were in person, you'd be getting some sort of treat at 8 something in the morning. I don't know what that would be, but we used to do that. But thank you so much. I have a quick question for you. I'm still not clear on, is this to help develop IEPs for students, or is it, no?
This is to train adults, to teach them what an IEP is, or to even teach them basic concepts around the curriculum. What is Common Core? What does a principal do? Just so that they can be better educated to support their child.
Okay, so one thing you could say is we're here to help parents get the best educational experience for their children, right?
Perfect.
So it's about being crystal clear about what your offering is. So if I'm a parent who has a child in school and it's just a maze of stuff that I don't understand, or we help parents understand how to advocate for the best education that their child can receive here in the state of Idaho. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Who's ready to go next? Carol's smiling, but she's like, oh, are you ready, Carol?
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's go for it, Carol.
Okay, my name is Carol Sanger, and I'm totally screwing this up right now.
No, there's no, remember this, people. No right, no wrong. First foray into it. It's about being brave.
Right. Anyway, okay, my name is Carol, and I'm with Carol's Kitchen Creations, and I'm trying to get homemade seasonings going. Started this about a year ago, just messing around, and had some friends and my kids try the seasoning blends that I'm doing, and they said, you need to start selling this. And so I'm starting all this, and hopefully we'll get everything out there very soon.
Okay, Carol, thank you. Appreciate you sharing. I want all of you to think about this. Carol, we're going to help you out here. I'm going to, and others will, because you know what? I have a feeling that your seasonings are delicious and they add spice to the things that people add them to, correct?
Yes.
So when you look at the screen,
Okay.
I'm Carol. What is your business name?
Carol's Kitchen Creations.
I've developed Carol's Kitchen Creations, and they're an amazing series of seasonings that will spice up the foods that you make at home.
Okay.
We sell them currently at farmers market and online, and you can reach us at
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's, what is your value? Your spices, what do they do for people? Does that help?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay. I'll think of me just as the seed planter. You guys fertilize it and water it and make it grow, but that's what you want to do. You want to paint a picture for someone of what you're doing for them and how it solves a problem for them. Because salt and pepper, that's just boring.
Right, exactly.
Right? Okay. Thank you, Carol, for being brave. Okay, who's next? Come on. Mitch, I'm going to pick on you because I'm kind of excited. I did a little research in what you're interested in, so I want to hear a little bit about it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well,
Okay.
I'm Mitch Sampson, and my company, Back to the Roots Ag, is developing a regenerative agriculture transition fund to help growers out there who want to farm according to the 6 principles of regenerative agriculture and need access to capital that they currently can't get from a traditional bank, with a fund that understands the economic and environmental benefits of these principles. So you can either spread the word to your friends or family who are growers, or you can invest in this fund so that we can help these growers get the access to capital that they need.
And how can we reach you, Mitch?
You can either email me at m.samson88@gmail.com or give me a call.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. So you're looking for both. So for Mitch, it would depend who he's talking to. If he's talking to the farmers that want to use those principles, he'll be saying, we have funds available up to these limits, and here's an application process. If but he's also looking for investors to put money into the fund, right, Mitch, if I heard that correctly?
Yep, correct.
So he's going to have an investor kind of pitch as well. Thank you. Did that make sense to all of you? Okay, cool. Okay, who's next? Come on. You guys are all like, oh, Danae, yes. Unmute yourself, girlfriend. Got to unmute. It's the
Okay,
little.
I thought that I was.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. My name is Danae Hardy, and I don't have a name of the business yet, but
Make one up, girl. Come on.
okay.
No, it doesn't matter.
Hi, my name. Okay, my name is Danae Hardy, and mine is e-bike, an e-bike store. So we're here to facilitate all of the community's e-bike needs. We're here to fit you with an e-bike for your physical capabilities. We're also here to help with facilitating your commute, helping your children get to school safe, and also to repair your e-bikes when they have mechanical difficulties. And you can reach me at email address. We are located X, Y, and Z, and our website is X, Y, and Z.
And your location is?
X, Y, and Z.
1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, right? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So you are going to be doing sales and repair, not rental.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for correcting that. Yes, that's part of it too. Thank you.
Okay. So now you can start seeing, and please, all of you know that as we're talking through each one, it's just a little tidbit for you to kind of refine your message as well. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? We specialize in rental, sales, and repair of e-bikes to help you navigate life and get places more effectively. You can find us at XYZ Main Street, online to make your reservation and schedule your repairs.
Okay,
right?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Danae.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
No, thank
Who's
you.
next? Okay, let's see. Jody and Ginger, I don't see their faces here. So Brenda, how about you? Nope.
I already went, remember?
Oh, wait, Brenda. Yes, you did. You were first. So sorry. Okay, let's see. Jody, are you up for it?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm Jody Davis-Skempler with Elite Fundraising Solutions. Nonprofit development can be frustrating, complicated, and stressful. I help nonprofit organizations with feasibility studies, capital campaigns, and overall fundraising strategies. We can work together to help you raise more money for your mission. Reach me at whatever the website is.
Yay! See, people are picking up stuff. Excellent. Great, Jody. So you're going to be a fundraising consultant for people and help them do the research and that sort of thing, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Ginger, are you up for it?
I can try it.
Of
Okay.
course you can.
Mr. Seidel, my company is Sacred Souls Journey. Currently, I am developing a health program to help those with chronic conditions like fibromyalgia, pain, fatigue, and depression. I'm trying to help those find their life again, to learn ways ways to function with the pain or even be able to lessen the pain. But deeper into a soul level where they can hopefully find their purpose, which will help them in all areas to bring that passion back. You can find my QR code on the back of my card that will lead you to my website and sign up for the program and to learn more.
Okay, great. Ginger, I apologize because you were breaking up a lot, so we heard bits and pieces, but I think you got some elements in there. And those of you that are having issues, if you do turn off your video, you get more, space. So, but Ginger, thank you for sharing. I apologize. I don't have a whole lot of, because it was bits and pieces, so we can definitely check on that, but thank you. Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Ryan Thompson. I'm looking at building a mini golf course here in the Treasure Valley. We want to provide a focused mini golf experience, an alternative to the only outdoor mini golf course that's in the whole valley. I'm focusing on both families, corporate activities, and also adults in offering different concessions and services going along with mini golf. And I don't have a company name or a location yet, but I guess the call to action would be to just stop by during whatever we decide the business hours are, whenever it opens.
Okay, great. Come and have fun, right? Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. So you're still exploring the feasibility of this as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. And let's see, do we have, did Gary leave us? I was just going to go to Gary and he dropped off. So, well, thank you. I think we got everyone, didn't we? I think so. It's kind of hard because everybody switches around, but I think we did. So thank you all for being so brave. Did that help you kind of really distill down a little bit about who you are and what you're trying to do? I think some of you, you have a clear picture, but what we're really trying to do is help with focus and clarity. And you're going to see more of that in the back half of what we're doing. So here's the fundamentals. I'm not going to read this, but we're going to go through all of this. And these are just the things that are critically important to get your business started. My background is in business. I have owned businesses, as you've heard, several others past the gift shop. But my degrees in business, which I tell people doesn't mean a whole lot, except that I had to have the discipline to get the graduate degree. I learned stuff along the way. And then my master's is in organization development. And so for me, it's about creating that foundation for your business, that great foundation, so that you can really replicate it, scale it, build it as big as you want, depending on what that is for you. It takes fundamentals, and we all know that. If we use an athletic analogy, you can get by on raw talent for a while, but if you don't have the fundamentals in place, it's going to kind of start falling. So we're going to talk through some of them. One of the things that we want to talk about is, a lot of people ask, what type of business entity should I set up? And it just depends what's best for you. I don't know if any of you are going to plan to do partners, but there are several types. So we're going to briefly talk about them. Here in red, you'll see consult with an attorney or accountant to determine which business entity form is best for your business. An attorney would be to determine if you have partners and if you're having investors, do you need to have a corporation and shares, and what does that look like? An accountant is more for tax purposes. And so there are two different reasons depending on your setup. But we're going to talk right now about how to protect risk management. So if all of you could be set up as a sole proprietor, and we'll talk about assumed business name in a little bit, and or a general partnership. And if you do that, and that's how you're set up, and you register as an assumed business name that way, please understand that your personal assets could be subject to being at risk if something happens in your business. When you go with limited liability company or a corporation, there is I'm sitting here pointing at the screen. I know you can just tell exactly what I'm doing. I talk with my hands. So there you go. You missed some of the translation because you can't see my hands, just saying. But there is the corporate veil here that can protect you. Now, granted, in a litigious society, this will give you a little bit of protection, but to protect your personal assets. And these are things that if you aren't sure, certainly schedule an appointment with a consultant and we can walk you through some of those things of what's best for you. And you can register for a limited liability and a corporation on the Secretary of State of Idaho website. I want to caution you right now, it may come up later, but I may forget it. Don't pay someone to do this for you. It's easy, it's not hard. But there's advertisements before the state of Idaho thing, and it'll say, oh, we'll do it for you. So it's very easy. Thank you, Brenda. It is super easy. And, you know, LLCs are $100 to register, and but it's not hard. And and it's important to note that you'll get a notice that you need to renew, you know, every year you just need to do a report. So I want you just to be aware of that. And Brian, yes.
Did you say who we should talk to if we have additional questions about that subject? Is there somebody?
Yeah, if you can, after we're done, you can set up an appointment with one of the consultants here at the SBDC and we can walk you through it. Okay.
And then
Ryan,
go
ahead, Mitch.
Quick
Go ahead.
follow-up to that. Do you know if anybody has experience with like better corporations or co-ops?
I think we do have some people in our organization that can do that. We have a cadre of professionals that we work with, so we can kind of vet out, okay, what are we looking at here? Who do we need to bring in to consult with? So does that answer your question, Mitch? Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, if you're filing the LLC just through the state, do you not need like an operating agreement or anything to do that? You can file without that.
Do you have partners?
Well, potentially, but not yet.
If you don't have partners yet, you don't need an operating agreement.
Okay.
The minute you get partners, and I will say this to all of you, in the last year and a half, I've had 3 partnerships dissolve. I call them, they got a divorce. They weren't married, but it's like being married. And one of them had an operating agreement. Actually, 2 of them had operating agreements. It was much easier. One did not, and it is still a nightmare. So you need to have that operating agreement in place when you develop, you know, even Mitch, for you, whatever you're going to create, there's going to be an operating agreement. And Ryan, same thing. Because for miniature, you know, you're going to need either partners or investors or something. So there's got to be a clear, just how do we do this? And once that's done, I have another client. They were here before I got here, but I inherited them, and they had a real clear operating agreement, and there was some dispute, and there were 3 partners, and one person went against the operating agreement, and there was a thing in place that the other 2 could say, yeah, you're out for this amount of money. So you just want it crystal clear. And in my gift shop that you heard me talk about, I had a partner, and I can still remember going to the attorney to get our operating agreement set up. And he said, you guys are friends. You still really want to do this? We're like, we do, but we spelled everything out. What happens if someone dies? What happens if someone gets a divorce? What happens if, you know, da-da, da-da, da-da. And the best news is we had the business. we closed the business, we were still friends. It was a great story, but it takes work. So I'm just being candid with all of you, that it takes again, going back to, if you get that foundation set really good up front, you mitigate a lot of issues down the road. So, so if you're just by yourself, Ryan, right now, you don't need to, but the minute you start thinking about partners and adding them on there, you want that operating agreement in place. Does that help? Okay. The first thing that a lot of people do is they go in and they file that LLC. But I want to suggest something to all of you. Secure your domain name first. Now, what I mean by domain name is you go on to one of the providers that sell domain names, GoDaddy, pick one, I don't care, Google, doesn't matter. And make sure that whatever name you want is available on the World Wide Web. Because if you're 123greatbusiness.com, or that's what you file as, but that is taken out there already. Remember, this is your brand. So really think about what you're going to name this thing, and then go out there and get that domain name. Domain names do not cost a lot of money. I mean, people have gone out now and bought a bunch, and then, they're not there. Danae's nodding her head. If it's like, oh, this is perfect, and then it's like, oh, it's available for 10 grand or something. Find a name that's unique that you can brand around and secure that, and then go through and register with the state. So as people ask, what is the difference between assumed business name or doing business as? That would be as if you are a sole proprietor or general partnership. You just say that Ryan and Mitch are doing business as, XYZ company. But remember that corporate veil, that's not there. That would be an assumed business name. It's $25. This website, sosbiz.idaho.gov, it will take you right through that. It's not required. But another thing that's important, if you're filing an LLC or a corporation, you do not need a doing business as, because that will be the entity. Does that make sense? We can help walk you through this too. But here it's unique. So you're going to want to check the domain name, and then you're going to want to check and make sure there's nothing in the state of Idaho, but it doesn't claim it nationwide. But typically, if you can get that domain name, you're going to be able to brand it. You know what I'm saying? Does anyone have any questions about that? It's a big deal. Brand is a big deal. So, okay. Insurance. We just heard at $12 a year through Google. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate your logging that on. We just saw in the cybersecurity video is that he didn't have insurance for that. You want to think about, when you hear the word risk management, you really want to think about what is your risk. So, and what does that look like? And as we look through some of your businesses, so for example, our Spice Lady, Carol, she's making stuff that people are going to be ingesting. Is that going to be an issue? Are they going to be allergic? Does she have to have any disclaimers on there? Oh, it's not made in a gluten-free, whatever that looks like, or there's peanuts here, or, but she will need some insurance to protect in case someone throws spice on something and gets miniature golf, same thing. Someone gets hit, someone trips and falls, they turn around and twist and break their leg. Those are kind of some things that can happen. I'm sitting here looking to see what else we've got here. The coaching, the parents, I'm not sure, there may not be as much of a risk, but you still want to protect yourself and your personal assets. So that's something to think about. If you have employees, there's other kinds of insurance. So really it's about going through and making sure you have the appropriate insurance to take care of any problem. And I'm not saying get overinsured, but just protect your personal assets as you build your business. And any good insurance broker can walk you through that. If you have people who are going to be driving while they're working, maybe they're going to be delivering something, you have to have that covered as well. So just think about that sort of thing. And does your business need a business license? It depends. I would think Mitch is going to need some sort of license because he'll be doing some funding. I'm not sure what it is right off the top of my head, but I'm guessing they will. Ryan certainly will need several licenses for, and variances probably in different things in terms of that. The fundraising, let's see, that's Jody. I don't think that you'll need a license. Most cities in the state of Idaho don't require a business license. The city of McCall does, I believe, and you'll just need to check. But the part that is important is that you can go to, let me see if it's here. Oh, I'll get to the seller's permit in a minute. You can go, we're going to show you where there's a business wizard, and you can go through and say what you're going to do, and it will tell you if, it's business.idaho.gov, I believe. But if you just Google business wizard, you just go through and say, what do I want to do? And it'll tell you, like Carol's making these spices. If she's going to sell them third party, it does need to be in a certified kitchen. There will be certain things that have to happen. So it'll tell you exactly who you need to talk to and what you need to do. Do you need a seller's permit? A seller's permit will be, you're selling something and you're going to be collecting sales tax. Oh, thank you, Shonda, business.idaho.gov. And so those of you that are selling, Carol will definitely need it. She's selling something. And the e-bike, Danae, yep, and her insurance will be high because she's, especially if she's renting bikes out. So, but she'll need sales, she'll need a seller's permit as well. Ryan, if you're going to be selling stuff, beverages and things at the event, you'll be needing a seller, or toys, or, tchotchke kind of things, whatever that you'll be selling, who knows what. You'll need a seller's permit. But again, we can help you walk through as you're developing your business, what that looks like. And again, in the business wizard, it will tell you where to go, what to do, how to sign up, all that. Now, a lot of people ask us, oh, I really don't want to hire employees. I just want to pay someone X as an independent contractor to do some work. Okay.
Marie, can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely, Mitch.
Back on the topic of the seller's permit.
Uh-huh.
Would that apply to a business that offers like digital content?
That is a great question. And I don't know. Do you have, is it going to be in terms of documents and papers?
Yeah, thinking like information, like a pamphlet or something that can be bought online.
Yeah, they'll buy it for $5, online, or whatever. That is a great question. I think so this is the thing. If they're not in the state of Idaho, well, it depends. The laws have changed. You may or may not have to charge sales tax. Some states have it as taxable and some don't. So that's a question we'll have to ask the Secretary of State here in Idaho, I think. Now, I'm just thinking through that. I don't know that people charge sales tax for digital content because it's not a physical thing. However, you pay sales tax on books, so it's the same type of thing. It's an intellectual property. So I'm guessing.
Marie,
yep.
So I was the CEO of a software startup that I just exited, and we did some things like that, and I mean, whether or not you collect sales tax is one thing, but we still had to have a seller's permit, and we actually just would have to go in and report as like 0 collected sales tax with exempted sales on a lot of the stuff that we did.
But it wasn't taxable. That's what I'm hearing you say.
It
correct?
depends. I mean, we had like a lot of
Yep.
ours was service based, but we did do some digital content stuff like that, and generally not. But you still have to report the sales as non-taxable sales. So we still have to
Okay,
have the
got it.
permit to
Thank
do
you,
it.
Ryan. I appreciate that. See, this is what I love about community. This is what makes it great because we all learn from each other, and that's really key. So thank you. So let's talk about employees versus independent contractors. This is a key thing, is, you know, the penalties are steep if you misjudge this, but there are some basic things for you to consider. Is the worker's an employee when you have the right to control and direct their work, and you expect them to be at work at 8 and stay there till 5. That's an employee. Do you have the right to direct or control the financial and business aspects of their job, right? So, and it depends if they use your tools or not. This is the type of relationship depends on how they interact with each other. A true independent contractor. So for example, Jody is going to do fund development and help organizations. She probably can do this with her business as an independent contractor for a lot of people through a scope of work. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this is what I'll do. And your flat fee is going to be X, but they're not going to direct her in any way, shape, or form. She doesn't have to be at that office. She's using her own tools. She's doing everything. Carol, who's making spices, she also, let's say she decides, I'm going to get some independent contractors in to come help me, or some people in to come help me, and they have to be here from noon to 5 because that's when I have my certified kitchen. We're using all my supplies. We're using all, it's everything. They're not independent contractors. They are employees. So those are kind of the things, and the IRS, and you'll be getting a copy of this PowerPoint so you can make the click onto both of these to see what the determination is. But it's really clear about Danae, who's going to have repairs of bikes. She could hire independent contractors if somebody comes to her place, picks up the bikes, takes it to their shop and repairs and brings it back at $150 per repair job. If she expects them to, she has all the tools, she has the space, and they come to her place, it's going to be a little bit, and she expects them to be there from, 12 to 5, that's a different story. Does that all make sense? I mean, I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but this is an area that people get hung up on, and it's just, as you're building your business dream, it's important to think about these things and how you're going to build it out. Any questions? Okay, let's see here. I'm looking at the time. Do you need a business plan? There's a couple of reasons that you need a business plan. You need funding and you need to get organized. You will get the templates to these types of things. You also got set up with a one-page business plan in your packet. And really, this is, again, crystallizing what you're trying to do in short, succinct words. And so there's lots of tools. We can help you walk through these. Typically, when you're going for funding, a one-page business plan works because most of the funders, well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, funding, but they just want something simple. They want a simple concept of what you're doing. And have you researched, have you done your homework? Is there a need for what you're trying to do? Ryan wants to build there is, as I think there is only one miniature golf place here in the Treasure Valley. He wants to give people other options. Is there a need? More people are growing. The population has grown. What's the demographic? Who will come? What's the income level? It's like, have I done my work? Where will it be? Who am I going to pull from? Very similar to any of those kinds of things that you would determine as you're going out there. So if you need any help with this, these are some great templates. And again, it's about distilling down exactly what you're doing. Danae with the e-bike, it's clarity. At least, you know, a business plan includes, you know, the financials, the 3-year projections, you know, I've done the analysis. This is the competition in the marketplace. So those are the things that you can do, but you really need it. The one-page business plan works great to get organized. If you need funding, you're going to need, the banks they'll pretty much tell you exactly what you need. Okay. So 3 options to business ownership. And most of you here, I'm just going to go over this quickly, is you can buy an existing business. It doesn't look like any of you are interested in doing that right now. So we're really going to kind of skip over this piece. Or you buy a franchise. None of you are going to buy a franchise. Now, one of the things you can think about, some of these businesses could, as you build it, you could build it to be a franchise. You know, what does it look like? What area could it be? And what does that look like? So those are some things, but that's a whole different way of looking at it. And that's down the road. I'm not going to read through this. You're going to get this and you can understand what that looks like. There are e-bike franchises out there, just FYI. But I'm sure you don't want that, but I'm just saying that they are out there. And then this is what most of you are doing. 3 options to start, starting from scratch and how you can get funding. Bootstrap means that you fund it yourself, friends and family, or you can possibly crowdsource. We heard Mitch talk about getting investors. I'm thinking Ryan is probably going to be looking for investors or partners as well. And that is something that we can talk about too. But let's talk about funding and the reality of getting funding as you're starting your business. It's very challenging. When you need the money, and you notice that this says Valley of Death here, when you need the money for startups, it's very risky to get it for a variety of reasons, because there's just no proof of concept, really. We don't know if it's going to work. We aren't sure. But there are various ways in today's market that you can do it. And you've seen different crowdsourcing. There's some different, Idaho has something that you can do to kind of crowdfund in a different way and give out shares. I mean, there's some different things that we could do to think about, you know, what that looks like. But really in this first part, before you really show a profit, it's really friends, founders, family. And then the 4th F are sometimes called fools. We don't know that. They're just people who believe in you. And then as you prove your concept and you need to move it down the path a little bit more, you've got some angels, some possible grants, depending on what you're doing. And then you really just kind of come in and say, okay, what else can we do to get this started up and going? As you start proving your concept, then people are saying, oh, you got something here. I think it's scalable, repeatable model that we can move forward. And that's when people want to jump on board this place where, oh, okay, yeah, this is a great concept. Let's go through and do this. But this is a challenging position for people to be. I work with a lot of people in this place. I have one client who is kind of right here, or well, at least one. And it's kind of fun to watch what that they're more ready than she is, to be perfectly honest, to go this way. So the strategies to get this up and running, what I like to say now is people can be really creative. And what does that look like? And it's putting together a team of people to make that happen. Is it hard? Possibly. But the deal is this, is it worth it? Probably. And I say that because I've been an entrepreneur. I believe in it. That's what I do. But really what we like you to think about is fail fast, fail cheap. And we're going to talk through some of this here in a little bit about some easy things you can do that won't cost a lot of money to prove your concept. And some of you have your concept and the risk is not that big, but some of them, you know, there's some big capital investment and some different things. And what does that look like? So we'll move through this. There's some other non-bank startup sources. you know, one of the key things is right now work on cleaning up your credit history. I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is, but what I do know is everyone else does care. So make sure you have a great a great credit history. I have some clients looking at buying a business, and you know, it's a loan, someone to give them a loan for a startup in an industry they haven't been is going to be slim to none, but they've got a great credit history. They've got a couple assets that I think they can invest in that. And what you really want to think about is people are looking for you to put some money into the business too. So you're going to have to be prepared for that. But there are some different kinds of things. Let's say you've got a business. I don't think we have anybody here that might have it that way, but you've got contracts out there, and maybe you can get financing on those contracts that you've got going on. Or there's definitely collateral loans. I would caution you against using your retirement accounts for your startup. And you know, there's some other collateral-based loans or cash injection, as you see there. There's all sorts of ways to get creative. It's just again, it's about mitigating your risk. And there's that making, like I'd like to tell people, it's about making conscious decisions as you move forward. Just know what your numbers are and make conscious decisions, and then we'll see what we can figure out. So a typical startup, I'm going to start talking fast because I'm running out of time here, but a typical startup is, oh, I've got this idea and I'm going to maybe make a lot of money. And really what we're trying to talk about is we help you determine your feasibility. We're going to talk today about the value prop canvas, which is part of this business model canvas. And then there's also a business plan. But today we're going to focus on this value proposition, because what that really is, and we talked about that a little bit in your story, is what value are you bringing to the market, and to whom are you bringing it to? What problem do they have that you're going to solve? Okay. And sometimes it's a little bit easier, and we want to help you mitigate that risk and uncertainty so that you can be successful, because we talk about lean startup. You heard me say it already, fail fast, fail cheap. Let's test our theory in a way, or at least investigate the market in a way that doesn't cost us a whole lot of money. Let's don't go out and make 10,000 widgets knowing that someone wants it when, wait, we're not really sure that that is what they want. So let's talk about what is our minimum viable product. So let's talk about looking at what that looks like, and to see, I'm trying to think of, let's talk about Brenda. Brenda is going to be helping parents and helping adults navigate the educational system to get the best result for the children that they have in the educational system. What are the packages that she has? What's the minimum viable product that she can go out there and test to see if people are willing to do this? Let's talk about Ryan. His minimum viable product might be a challenge, but maybe he does a little research in certain areas and starts doing some questionnaires. Mitch, he might be able to start small with some smaller projects to generate some success with some smaller farmers to see what that looks like. There's all sorts of ways, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, what that looks like for each of you, because it's going to be a little bit different. We have Jody, who's going to be, who is an expert at fundraising, and maybe she's going to get some smaller projects or smaller contracts in her belt, and then move forward to see what that looks like to go forward. So it just depends whether you're a service or product industry. What is that minimum thing that you can do to prove your concept, and then move it forward without a whole lot of risk? And that's really, this is the first part. I know it's a lot. Does anyone have any questions? Or we're going to take like a 2-minute break. Any questions right now? I know there's a lot here. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's take a 2-minute break. If any of you have to go run to the restroom or do whatever, and then we'll get started on our next section. So it's, we'll be back. I have 9:10. We'll be back at 9:15. Okay? And I'm gonna stay here, so if any of you have any questions, just holler.
Hey, Marie, I have a question.
Absolutely, Ryan.
It's more about the funding side. Obviously, that's one of the primary
That's a big
challenges.
piece for you, yep.
So, I mean, I have access to some capital, but I'm gonna need some more. So as
How much
far
do
as
you think it's gonna take for your project?
I think probably between 500,000 and 750 to do it.
Does that include buying the land?
Well, that's another thing I was going to ask you about later is if you guys have contacts in like with some commercial real estate agents to talk about that. I feel like leasing it may be an easier option. I think buying the land is going to take a lot more cash.
It's going to be cost prohibitive maybe in this market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm interested in that. And if you have any connections there, kind of take a look at sites and get an idea of what it would cost.
Okay.
But is pretty much, I mean, I have, some connections from my previous, experience in software that I can tap, but I kind of want to do it on my own if I can. So are my only options really to go to banks, or are SBA loans available for, this kind of a thing, or what other options do I have?
Well, I'd have to kind of see everything. Depending on where you want to go, where are you thinking about this? Like, do you have a location? Clearly, it's not going to be off I-84 and Meridian Avenue.
Right. No, I'm right. Exactly. Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
There are a few I have in mind. There's a space over on Cole and Fairview there, where the Cole School was, where they have a couple pad sites that are potentially available. There's some options here off of Ustick and Eagle that are interesting. Also, would be interested on properties on the places over on the east side of Boise, far away from the existing spot, but I'm not sure about availability
kind of what I'm
there.
thinking, giving people. Well, this is just a couple thoughts in my brain. I kind of see where the biggest population growth is, and with households with families, because that's who's going to market you, and income over X, because that's, it's an entertainment space. That would be number one. Number two, where do they, and yes, we probably could connect you with somebody in commercial real estate to talk about where is the market going, like Star, that corner between Star and Emmett, which could pull Eagle, could pull the Western Treasure Valley, and oh wait, you don't have to drive down Eagle Road. You know what I mean? I don't know. That would be pieces of it. And then if you had a landowner out there and you could negotiate a, I don't know, I'm just thinking lease with a purchase to buy, so that you don't have that capital up front. The funding could be some sort of, the challenge with so the reason that you would go with the SBA loan is because they guarantee the money.
Right. It's like 85% government backed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The deal is, no one likes to take risk. So it's kind of all those things. But I think if you had all your numbers in place and, I've been parts of SBA loans where you get somebody that's really advocating for you and the experience, and it's all about experience and what you can bring to the table and the team you have. It's the story, but it's do the finances match to the story. And then I had one that cash flowed perfectly, but they ended up not wanting it because it was just like, yeah, we don't want this if it goes belly up. So it's all those kinds of factors. So, but I just was thinking, depending on where you went, there may be some community development incentives for a community that would say, oh yeah, we want that to come here.
Okay.
And so as I'm thinking through this, there may be some options with that too. It would
Okay.
it's going to take, Ryan, a lot of research
Mhm.
and due diligence. Land being so expensive right now, that's an issue, but you really want to nail down not, oh, there's a good piece of property. I want you to think about the population base, where is it going, accessibility, should we be by Eagle Island State Park, should we be by, I mean, I don't know, but does that help a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay. Okay, are we at 9:15? I don't know, my watches are all messed up. Everybody back? Yep, we are at 9:15. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. So excited. We're gonna go through this hopefully. We're gonna see a few videos. And again, this is really about, we went kind of from big. We got you distilled down a little bit with your story. Then we kind of talked about some of the logistics, which we can, in a one-on-one session, we can certainly help you out with. But now we're going to really fine tune what your idea is and really talk about what are you offering to, what is your value proposition. So we're going to kind of go through a few things here because it's going to give you clarity. And some of you have a real crystal clear picture of that, others not so much. But I think this will really help. So remember, what's the definition of a startup? It's a temporary organization in search of a repeatable and scalable business model. So we really want you to have that good foundation. And what does that look like? Can we scale it? What does it look like? Are we going to find Carol Spices in every supermarket in the nation? And we were on the call with her. No, do you see what I'm saying? What does this look like? And so this is what's called the business model canvas. We're not going to go over the entire thing. You're going to get this again in a PowerPoint. But what I love about this, think of this as kind of that one-page business plan. It's, I'm not even going to talk about it because there's going to be a video right now that will explain it for you.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Okay, we're going to look at this, but we're just going to look at it and maybe not that way. So let me stop. This happens to me every time. Don't mind me. We're going to look at these two sections. Who are our customers and what is our value proposition for them? And what does that look like? And you may have different customer segments and you may have different values. Mitch actually has different customers and different value props. For his he has investors and there's a different value proposition for them. And then he has the farmer and he has a different value prop for them. So it's going to depend on what you're looking for. Danae will have different customer segments as well. I actually think that Jody, she will have different customer segments as well. It will depend if she's just going to go for she's doing fundraising. So it could be for, is it going to be just for nonprofits? Is it going to be for funding business? What is that going to look like? Okay, so I'm going to switch over and we're going to explain this in a video. Maybe.
Every day, companies design products and services to improve their customers' lives. But 72% of new product and service innovations fail to deliver on expectations. This means that customers don't care about 7 out of 10 new products introduced to the market. It doesn't have to be this way. Just like you create value for your business with a business model canvas, there is in fact a tool to intentionally visualize, design, and test how you create value for customers. It's called the Value Proposition Canvas. The Value Proposition Canvas is composed of 2 parts, the customer profile and the value map. With the customer profile, you describe the jobs your customers try to get done. Jobs can be functional, like getting from A to B, social, like impressing friends and colleagues, or emotional, like gaining peace of mind. You highlight your customers' pains, which annoy customers while trying to get a job done. Pains are negative outcomes that customers hope to avoid, like dissatisfactions with existing solutions and challenges, frustrations, risks, or obstacles related to performing a job. And you outline customer gains, which describe how customers measure the success of a job well done. Gains are positive outcomes that customers hope to achieve, like concrete results, benefits, and even aspirations. Use the customer profile to visualize, test, and track your understanding of the people or companies you intend to create value for. It's a map that becomes clearer the more you learn about your customers. The second part of the canvas is the value map. With it, you list the products and services your value proposition builds on. You describe in which way these products, services, and features are pain relievers, how they eliminate, reduce, or minimize pains customers care about, making their life easier. And you outline in which way they are gain creators, how they produce, increase, or maximize outcomes and benefits that your customers expect, desire, or would be surprised by. The value map makes explicit how your products and services relieve pains and create gains. Use it to design, test, and iterate your value proposition until you figure out what resonates with customers. You achieve fit by creating a clear connection between what matters to customers and how your products, services, and features ease pains and create gains. Great value propositions target essential customer jobs, pains, and gains, and do so extremely well. Your customer profile may contain countless jobs, pains, and gains, but your value map highlights which ones you intend to focus on. But don't forget, an outstanding value proposition can still fail if your business model is flawed. Successful companies embed outstanding value propositions in scalable and profitable business models. Use the value proposition canvas to create products and services that customers want. Get started at strategizer.com.
Okay, let me see if I can get this.
Every day, companies
I
design
this every time. I apologize. I honestly.
products and services to improve.
Let me stop this. Get out of here somehow.
Their customers' lives.
Stop. See if I can. There we go. Sorry. I do it every time. I practice it even. Who knows what happens, but there you go. As we talked about in your I call it the 30-second story or elevator pitch. It's what value do you deliver to that customer? What gain creators do you deliver, and what pain relievers do you deliver? You aren't going to be all things to all people, but as you focus this in, you're going to be able to be much more successful. And so what I really want you to think about, you do have one of these right here. And really want you to think about that and who are you creating value for? The more specific you can be, the better. So you guys, if you're out here at break, I was talking to Ryan briefly about who's going to go there. People with children. I mean, there's going to be a certain demographic that's going to go there. They're going to earn a certain amount of money. How far are they willing to drive to do this? What does that look like? Who are they? What are they trying to accomplish? And then, but before you get there, I want you to really think about what is your customer trying to do? So for example, Jody, her customer, she's going to be doing fundraising. They're trying to fund something. It could be some sort of community impact project, right? Carol's customer is trying to make tasty food that they can deliver to their families or others. Danae's customer she's going to have several. Some just want to have fun when they visit Boise. I'm going to assume that you're in Boise. I don't want to make an assumption, but so they can get around on an e-bike, or others want to get from here to there on an e-bike, and travel. I mean, I don't know. Mitch's customer, who is a farmer, wants to really be environmentally friendly and use these pillars of agriculture and needs to get funding to make that happen for cash flow and that sort of thing so they can grow. So didn't hit everybody, I apologize, but trying to think through this. But really what I want you to think is, what is your customer trying to do? And I want you to listen to this. It's a little bit long, but when you really think about what is that customer trying to accomplish and how do you set yourself up to solve that problem, that's where
So I wanted just to tell you a story about a project we did for one of the big fast food restaurants. They were trying to goose up the sales of their milkshakes. They had just studied this problem up the gazoo. They brought in customers who fit the profile of the quintessential milkshake consumer. And they'd give them samples and ask, could you tell us how we can improve our milkshakes so you'd buy more of them? Do you want it chocolatey or cheaper, chunky or chewier? They get very clear feedback. They would then improve the milkshake on those dimensions, and it had no impact on sales or profits whatsoever. So one of our colleagues went in with a different question on his mind, and that was, I wonder what job arises in people's lives that cause them to come to this restaurant to hire a milkshake. So we stood in a restaurant for 18 hours one day and just took very careful data. What time did they buy these milkshakes? What were they wearing? Were they alone? Did they buy other food with it? Did they eat it in the restaurant or drive off with it? It turned out that nearly half of the milkshakes were sold before 8 o'clock in the morning. The people who bought them were always alone. It was the only thing they bought, and they all got in the car and drove off with it. So to figure out what job they were trying to hire it to do, we came back the next day and stood outside the restaurant so we could confront these folks as they left, milkshake in hand. And in language that they could understand, we essentially asked, excuse me, please, but I got to sort this puzzle out. What job were you trying to do for yourself that caused you to come here and hire that milkshake? And they'd struggle to answer, so we'd then help them by asking other questions like, well, think about the last time you were in the same situation, needing to get the same job done, but you didn't come here to hire a milkshake. What did you hire? And then as we put all of their answers together, it became clear that they all had the same job to do in the morning, and that is they had a long and boring drive to work. And they just needed something to do while they drove to keep the commute interesting. One hand had to be on the wheel, but somebody had given them another hand and there wasn't anything in it. And they just needed something to do while they drove. They weren't hungry yet, but they knew they'd be hungry by 10 o'clock. So they also wanted something that would just pull down there and stay for their morning. Good question. What do I hire when I do this job? You know, I've never framed the question that way before, but Last Friday, I hired a banana to do the job. Take my word for it, never hire bananas. They're gone in 3 minutes, you're hungry by 7:30. If you promise not to tell my wife, I'd probably hire donuts twice a week, but they don't do it well either. They're gone fast, they crumb all over my clothes, they get my fingers gooey. Sometimes I hire bagels, but as you know, they're so dry and tasteless. Then I have to steer the car with my knees while I'm putting jam on them, and then if the phone rings, we got a crisis. I remember I hired a Snickers bar once, but I felt so guilty I've never hired Snickers again. Let me tell you, when I come here and hire this milkshake, it is so viscous that it easily takes me 20 minutes to suck it up that thin little straw. Who cares what the ingredients are? I don't. All I know is I'm full all morning and it fits right here in my cup holder. Well, it turns out that the milkshake does the job better than any of the competitors, which in the customer's minds are not Burger King milkshakes, but it's bananas, donuts, bagels, Snickers bars, coffee, and so on. But I hope you can see how, if you understand the job, how to improve the product becomes just obvious.
Okay, now we're going to try this again so I can get out of here. I did it. Whew. There we go. When you look at that, it really is understanding the job and what is that customer trying to do, right? So again, you have this value prop canvas, and I want to go through, this is what it is for something that we all know well, and that is Uber. This is a value prop for Uber. The customer job is what? Service varieties, and I want on-demand availability. So what has been my problem? Processing times. It took a long time for a taxi to get there. Trustworthy, security. I mean, these are all questionable, but we all know most of us have used Uber or Lyft or a rideshare. What are the gains? They're low cost. They're there like this. Faster service. Now with COVID, I grant you there's been a few hiccups, but we get the drift. So how does this relieve pain? Hassle-free processing. I have it in my app. I don't have to exchange any money. It's boom. Cheaper rides, cashless, it's reliable. What's shorter wait for a ride, on-demand cab availability, lower prices than taxis. So this is what they came up with: on-demand, efficient, one tap, and it's a ride share. So you get some choices. So you can see as you build your model, what does that look like? And we have a few minutes, and I want you just to go through this. Oh, I want to show you this. This is using Creatively. You can see this up here. You can use it for free. You don't need to add it. Where you can literally just kind of start creating, you can literally use Post-it notes. These little, I think I have some little ones here. I don't know if I do. But if you get those little teeny ones, you literally can just, and then start moving them around. You start thinking about, what is my customer trying to do? So for Mitch, he has farmers that are having a hard time getting funding to farm the way that they want to farm, right, Mitch? I guess that's kind of what I'm hearing you say, right?
I believe so, and I hope so.
Okay, so perfect. Okay, that's great. He believes so, he's not sure. So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what's your customer trying to do. What's a pain in trying to do it right now? What are some gains that could happen? So if I'm Ryan, a pain of me, the job I'm trying to do is have fun, family-friendly entertainment, right? The pain is there's a few places here in the Treasure Valley, but there's not a lot of variety, perhaps. I don't know. What could be a gain? Something closer to where I live, or more family friendly. I don't know. I'm making stuff up here, but that's okay, because that's what we get to do here is test the hypothesis and then move forward. So You can do this online. I just want to show you that, but you do have your little thing. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and I want you just to take this, and I want you to jot down some stuff real quick. We're only going to take a couple minutes, and we're not going to share because I really want to share with you about the Lean Startup Problem Interview and ways for you to kind of test this. But go, just take a few minutes. I'm going to play a little music, I think. Maybe not. Oh, maybe I am. Okay, there we go. A couple minutes. Just really look down at that sheet and start writing stuff down for your business. We'll do about 5 minutes. Putting my timer. Go ahead.
Could you show the slide with the example? Because the track is
Sure. Yep. I think I can. I'd love to spend so experienced with this to be on, but that would be a lot. That one? Is that what you're looking for, Mitch? And Mitch, you're going to have, you guys, many of you will have several value props for different customers. Like Danae, you'll have one for the renter, the buyer, the repair. Mitch, you'll have one for the investor and the farmer. Okay, time. Let's see here. Oh, here, I found it. That's fine. There we go. It's like, okay, what did I do? Let's go next. Okay. Whew. That took a minute. I know that most of you probably didn't get through this, but was it a little bit helpful to walk through it? Because what we're going to do, and Mitch, you were the perfect segue into this. I want you to circle what you know to be true on your canvas and what data do you have to back it up. But what I want you to put a square around is that what's untested. You said something like, I hope that's what they want, right? It's a square.
Yep.
We've untested it. So what we want to do, can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Is now we're going to talk about how you go out and really do some research and test the validity of what you're looking for in a way that's not leading. So I want you to ask yourself a couple things. Is how much time have you put into the idea? How much research? Do you feel like it's finished? How do you know if it'll work or not work? And what if you're wrong? We talk about fail fast, fail cheap. And the best way to do it is with this. You got it in your packet, this little interview. We're going to talk about that. I really want to spend some time on that because if you get it right, you're going to find out some amazing things. So let's see, I don't think it's on here. So this is what we're going to do. You need to keep calm, get out of your building. You know what you think is going to work. Now we're going to go to conduct some interviews. So if you have this in front of you, which I hope you do, I want you just to kind of think about, you know, who are you going to interview? Who's that market for you? Where are they? You know, what is the profession? What's their education? What's their income? What's their interest and hobbies? What kind of is their age? But I want you to think about things, and it talks about tell a story. What's the problem? I noticed that when this happens, then that. So for example, let's talk about, let's see, Brenda. Brenda, I noticed that this year, adults and parents have found a hard time navigating through the school system to find out what's the best thing for their child's education, right? So one of the things that you could ask people under the problem ranking is you can just say, can you know, if you're asking parents and adults, what are the 3 to 5 biggest issues you have with getting your child the education you think that they deserve? And that's it. Not, I'm thinking of starting my own business, not any of that kind of stuff. It's what are the 3 to 5 problems that you have? And I'll share with you, I have a grandson who's deaf. And so advocating, my daughter learning how to advocate the system for him to get the correct education, it has been a learning opportunity. Let's put it that way. But whatever that looks like, for Mitch, you can go out and talk to organic farmers. And I'm saying talk to 50. What are the 3 to 5 biggest problems you have in taking the initiatives for the 5 pillars of this type of agriculture that you're trying to implement? I don't know if that's the right question, but I think it kind of is, right? Ryan, you go out and talk to families who you think would come to your facility and say, what's the biggest issue you have right now with family-friendly entertainment here in the Treasure Valley? What would you like to see? Don't tell them what you're thinking about doing, right? Carol, you go out there and depending what your market is, you know, you talk to people who you think are going to buy your product. You know, there are a lot of spice blends out there, a ton. How are you going to differentiate yourself? And what does that look like? So what are the issues that you have when you go to season your food? You see what I'm saying? Danae, depending on where you are, if people who rent might be tourists, people who buy, e-bikes are expensive, so it's going to be a certain demographic. Are you going to buy online? I actually have a friend who bought it online. That in itself comes with some inherent issues, right? So you need to think about those questions. And I'm going to share with you, I have a client who had to do a pivot. A lot of them had to do pivots during COVID and wanted to rebrand and had about 150 customer base right now. And I said, go back out and ask them, what are the 3 to 5 top problems that they have? Don't tell them what you're going to do. Well, the first 5, he told them what he was going to do. So he led the conversation. Said, stop, go ask them, and you'll find out how you can position yourself to solve the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? We're all looking at it from, this is what it is. Go out and find out from that market. What is it do they really need? And Mitch, what they may need is help navigating the resources out there, similar to what Jody is doing with fundraising. Maybe you have a package where you go in and assess what they have, help them put together a package and find capital in other ways. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. So, if you have squares, what I want you to do is go out and test that market. But you can then, if you're looking, let's say they name their 3 to 5 problems that's on that sheet. And then you say, well, what resources have you used to address them? Like, what have you done? I mean, and listen, what do you wish was available to you? And what's the best way for you to solve this problem? You're going to hear stuff that will be invaluable to you as you test your market. But really, then your hook, that's that next one. Well, I'm just really ramping up a service and product that I think can help you with these problems. Would you be open to discussing it when I'm ready? And they're going to say, well, tell me about it. Nope, I'm not quite ready yet. I'm just going out and interviewing people like you because I want to be able to position myself to help you solve your problem in the best way possible. Does that make sense? I want to get back with you. Do you know anyone else that I could interview? Does that make sense? I know it seems like it's a lot of work, but it's going to give you the confidence to really understand what that market is out there. And then you're going to know. And really, you want to ask open-ended questions, things like there's some tips here. You don't want to get a polite response back. You really want to know. When you ask someone what their problems are, I can tell you, I promise you they're going to tell you. And then, use your intuitive skills to kind of dig a little bit deeper. And it's really one of the key things on here. The point is to learn from them, not to sell to them. The point is for you to fine tune that value proposition for your business to set you up for success. Does that make sense? Okay, I know this is a lot and I want to save some time for questions. What do we got? What questions do you have?
I just have a question. So I was wondering, how do we get to meet with you individually? It's my understanding that we don't get to until we have a business plan.
Oh, you can. I'm going to tell you that next. Next steps. How's that? I will answer questions. Let me tell you that, though. It's really simple. You just go to this address right here, region3admin@boisestate.edu. Say, I just was at Business Base Camp and I want to set up an appointment. And really, if you just see this little thing here.
There it is. Okay.
Yep. And really just fill out, there's like that 1-page business thing. Just the key is that we want people who've gone through this and who have really kind of distilled their idea down a little bit. Okay. So that's really the key. And there's that, I think there is that 1-page form that you can just fill out. It doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't about perfect. Oh, and she just put it in the chat box. Just fill it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a jump off point for you. Okay. but we want you to have it distilled down enough so that we can move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, yeah. It's in the chat. And you just complete that document. It won't take you long. Okay. Do you see it in
I'm
the
sorry.
chat?
Yeah, I don't see it in the chat. Sorry.
It is to everyone. Let's see here. Oh, what did I do?
Oh, there it is. Idaho SBDC.org.
Yes, but there is a business planning document. And you can just download it.
Okay.
Okay. If not, just send an email and say, hey, I need that document. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions though right now? I know it seems like a lot, but I promise you, if you do the groundwork early, it will set yourself up for success. Because, and thank you, Mitch, for that segue when you said, I think, because that's really the key. Is like, it's not tested. Let's go out and test. What is it? What is that market out there?
Can you elaborate a bit on the tell a story part of the interview sheet?
Absolutely. So you can tell me, okay, Mitch, I'm going to ask you to elaborate. Tell me why you think your business idea is a good idea. You noticed what?
I noticed that there are a number of growers out there that want to kind of adopt or change the way that they're doing their business. And the vast majority of farmers out there are not profitable. And that's one of the kind of fundamental changes that regenerative agriculture can provide farmers, is to reduce your input costs and get more margin on your products.
Right. So their input costs in terms of pesticides and herbicides and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
That's your story. You know, I noticed that a lot of them want to adopt these principles and you haven't been able to be profitable because you've been using these herbicides and pesticides and there's a high input cost. I noticed that. Why don't you tell me kind of some of the 3 to the 5 problems? It's just an observation. Why don't you tell me 3 to the 5 problems that you have? And we know, A, we want farmers to be profitable, and B, this is a more environmentally sound, eco-friendly solution, right?
Yep.
So does that help?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, it's what did you all notice that made you think, ooh, this is a good idea, right? Jody noticed that there are a ton of people out there. She's got fund development, fundraising skills out there, and a lot of organizations and people are trying to do that. She noticed that they're struggling and they're reinventing the wheel every time. Hey, I can help you with this, or what are your issues? Danae noticed that there may not be electric bike options, or a lot of people want to buy them, but they don't have a place to go to. They have to wait, they have to go online to do it. I mean, I don't know what that looks like. Brenda noticed, you know, I noticed that parents are struggling to get their kids the education that they need. Can you explain to me 3 to 5 problems that you've experienced, you know, and what have you done to resolve that problem? You know, are there some, do you see how that flows? You just make it a conversation. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Danae, you're unmuted. Do you have a question?
No, huh? No.
Okay, cool. I know it's a lot. We are here to help you, walk with you, to get you through the process. And I like to tell people it really is, we walk through it with you. You get to do the work. Typically what happens when you consult with us, we have 4 consultants here in the Treasure Valley. If you're not in the Treasure Valley, and I know a couple of you aren't, you can certainly talk to email Margaret Bushy at boisestate.edu. Although honestly, we do a lot of them via Zoom anyway, so you could certainly schedule time with us. It's not a problem. And you know, there's some upsides to COVID. We are all becoming masters at Zoom, and you know, it helps us all manage our time a little bit better. But typically what will happen is you'll come in and we'll kind of determine what are your next steps. And I can only speak to myself, but I know the other consultants do the same. It's like, okay, these are the 4 things you need to do before we meet again. we say, okay, how long is it going to take you to do that? We schedule our next time. And it's about progression. It's about, okay, this is what we're going to do. And like I shared with you, my one client, it's like, I need you to interview 20 people a week because you need to pivot fast. We got to do this fast, right? So whatever that looks like, it's your business and you drive it. It's how fast you want to go, how the research that you want, but the goal is for you to really get those squares off your value prop and turn them into circles so that you're pretty confident that this is the direction and the market has something there for you. Okay. Any other questions? I think that this might be my last slide. I don't even know. Oh, no, there's more. Sorry, I apologize. It's been a minute since I've taught this class, so I apologize. I did go through it, but not etched in the brain. One-on-one power session. Ooh, power. Well, I don't know if it's a power session, but it's certainly exploratory. And we're going to go through and really talk through some things and figure out what that looks like. There's additional training. We can refer you to other providers. Some of you have asked some other things. And none of us pretend to know everything. We don't, but we can connect you with other resources. And oh, wait, there's more. I'm laughing. Sorry, it's early in the morning still for me. Accelerator space at Boise, I know is full. NAMP is pretty full, but for the most part, we have transition going, and it's where you can rent your office space and start doing your business here, and then you get consulting as well. And you're definitely going to get a survey. Feel free to be candid and honest. Her tech skills were horrible, you know, whatever. But anyway, please do that because that's how we improve. We do reiterations of this all the time. And definitely, you know, sign up, fill it in, schedule an appointment. You'll get on someone's calendar, and we'd love to see you and help you walk through this, whatever that looks like. Okay, any other, and Jody, thank you. Mitch, I don't know if you saw this. Oh, you did, good, okay. Wanted to make sure you saw that chat, perfect. So see, Jody's already thinking how she can add value to other people. So that's really key. And I think that those are things that you really want to think about. Where am I going to fit and what does that look like? So any other questions that you have? None? Okay, well, it was delightful meeting all of you today. I am hoping that I see you and your businesses thrive and you are on your way. And thank you, all of you, for being brave and doing that pitch. I really, really appreciate that. Brenda, thank you for going first. And it was a pleasure. So feel free to connect with us. We are here to help you and walk you through the adventures of becoming an entrepreneur. Okay? Take care, people. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Marie.
Thank you.